So where does Kamala Harris need to do well tonight? She has to drive up the turnout in Charlotte, in Raleigh, in Greensboro, in Buncombe County, specifically Asheville. Are you sensing a theme there? That's because it's the big cities. That's where Democrats do well. Yeah, Tim, you brought this up about Mecklenburg County. That's why it's a little bit difficult to read too much into the numbers right now because we are still waiting for quite a bit of the votes. Just 20% of the expected vote, which is just nothing, frankly. What we're waiting on is the early voting numbers from Wilson County. And I can tell you, I've spoken with the Davis campaign, and they say we expect those numbers to be friendly. But let's pull up Mecklenburg County, where Joe Biden had about 67% support in 2020. And if you go to Kamala Harris, she's running a little bit below that with 64%. The national media is going to focus a lot of this race about the CNN article. But let's be very clear. Mark Robinson had significant baggage before the CNN article.
So I think it was that abortion ad in June that started all this.
And many other things that Democrats have been pointing to. Remember, there were warning signs in the Republican primary. Senator Tom Tillis did not endorse him. He had a challenger from Treasurer Dale Folwell. So there were a few, not many, establishment Republicans saying, hang on a second, we're not sure this guy can actually win the general race.
Reuben's got numbers and spreadsheets.
But at this point, it's really unclear on whether what might happen with Pennsylvania. Let's show you the numbers there, because they're starting to come in more and more, but this is a state that takes a little bit of time. Doesn't mean anything's wrong, nothing's wrong with the numbers. It's part of the process. It's how the state plays it out.
I'm Tim Boy. I'm here with Florida Beniti and Reuben Jones. And is this a caffeine fix?
It's a little bit of sugar to get you through.
Tomorrow or today a little rough.
Tim, you bring us to a bar, but I've got no drink here.
That sounds like a you problem, Reuben. Reuben Jones, our Washington correspondent, Florida Beniti, our senior political reporter. So Kamala Harris gave her concession speech this afternoon. So now we're officially sort of rolling in. Reuben, what is your takeaways of this presidential race?
Remember, this is only the second time you will have a president coming back into the White House. I think the last time was Grover Cleveland. There are a lot of Democrats, there are a lot of independents, and people in general really tense right now. And so you heard the vice president today speak at Howard University, and she addressed her supporters and said, we are going to have a peaceful transition of power. But let's be clear, we are still going to fight for what we need. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. Polls have her and Trump tied pretty much, or neck and neck. More than 40% of registered voters, they've already cast their ballot here in the state, so 60% potentially up for grabs. But a lot of people, they've already weighed in on this race, Josh. Former President Donald Trump is halfway through a 4-stop blitz in 3 days here in the battleground state of North Carolina. It is a state he very likely needs to win if he's going to get back into the White House.
You've traveled the state quite a bit over the last few weeks. What did you sort of notice? What stood out to you as you were talking to voters and these candidates about what they were looking for tonight and what that may play into what we see tonight in results?
Well, there's one voter I'm going to be thinking about a lot tonight. She is a woman, an older woman who lives in a rural part of the state. And I talked to her at her house, and she told me that she has not voted for a Democrat in decades. I think the last time was John F. Kennedy. And this election, she was very much leaning towards voting for Democrat Josh Stein. But when it came for the race for president, she was going to vote for Donald Trump. And so the question tonight is, how many people split vote? They vote for the Democrat for governor, they vote for the Republican for president.